So I'm so excited to film this video. I'm actually excited to film this video. Like, the heater's going though because it's freezing in here and it's gross outside. So if you watched my worst of 2019 video, who cares? We need to talk about the best books that I read in 2019. So anyway, number 10 on this list is Our Revolution by Bernie Sanders. I listened to the audiobook for this because it is kind of dense nonfiction. It's pretty thick. It's a pretty thick book. But the audiobook was great. I loved it. So it's narrated by Bernie Sanders and Mark Ruffalo. It is very fact heavy at times, so like it might take you a little bit to get through, but it just solidified who Bernie is and where he came from and his track record, and just it also exposes so much more of the corruption in politics that he doesn't even like ever talk about. And this is a big deal for me because growing up, I always liked politics. I don't like politics, let's be real, but I like to be informed on politics. I realize the importance of politics. But Bernie Sanders is the first time because I voted for him in 2016 and 2020, bitch. He's coming. Hopefully the Democratic National Committee doesn't do a dumb thing like they did with Hillary and fuck us all up, because I blame them for Trump. Yeah, I blame the Democratic Committee, National Committee for Trump. 100%. 100%. This book just solidifies just how important Bernie is, how amazing he is, and how corrupt the political system in America really is. Which sounds like not a fun read, but I really enjoyed it. It made me cry at times. There's like a quote in here. I cannot remember the exact quote. I wish I would have like marked what page it was on. But there's a quote about someone where he mentions how people don't want to leave their dead-end jobs to go to school or to change because of the benefits that are at that job. Even though they're treated like trash there, they might have benefits that they just don't want to leave, or they can't financially leave. He's something along those lines, and I'm like, that is my job. That is my life. I work a shitty retail job. It's got alright benefits, so I stay there. Because I've been there for 10 years. Well, it's going on 11 now. Why the fuck would I leave to do the exact same job for less money and less benefits? So yeah. Anyway, if you're on the fence about who to vote for, I highly recommend giving his book a listen. Because I don't know. I've donated to both him and Elizabeth Warren's campaign. I like Elizabeth Warren too, but I think she's too much of a capitalist for me. But if you're voting for either one of them, I applaud you. But yeah, I do have her book sitting over there. I should listen to her book next, but maybe in 2020. But yeah, Bernie's my man. I wish they would run on one ticket, because holy fuck, they would get shit done, or at least try to, before Republicans blocked everything. Book number 9 is The Love and Lies of Rukhsana Ali. This book really broke me. This book broke me so much. There's one scene in particular that I still, to this day, as someone who identifies as someone in the LGBT community, as someone who identifies as bisexual, or queer, or whatever you want to call it, there's a scene in here that just broke me into a million pieces, shattered my entire heart, and just I was crying so hard I couldn't even see the pages. If a book does that to me, it ends up on my favorites list. So if you don't know what this is about, it follows Rukhsana Ali, who is she is gay, and she comes from a very conservative Muslim family, and one day her mom catches her and her girlfriend together, and things happen. They go back to Bangladesh to be with extended family, and basically they kind of just ship her off and trying to cure her kind of thing, and it's just, there's some things that happen in here that just break my fucking heart. But it's an important book, and it's a beautiful book, and I loved it. Number 8, A Blade So Black. Oh yeah, by L.L. McKinley. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this book is amazing. Anyway, this is an Alice in Wonderland retelling, but it's like Alice in Wonderland meets like Buffy, It's fucking great. It follows Alice. Our main character's name is Alice, obviously. She's the badass. She's badass. She's badass. She's badass. It's amazing. This is great. I loved this. I loved every second of this. I don't know what else to say. It's an Alice in Wonderland retelling that is just fucking badass. I don't know what else to say. Also, all of the characters are hot. I don't know what it is. I was crushing on everyone in this book. Like, everyone. Alice, I think Hada is like his name. I was crushing on him. You should read this. It's great. There's a sequel that is on my TBR for the year, not the month. I really want to get to it, and it's great. And the cover is just as gorgeous. Here, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at these books together. Look at them together. It's beautiful. I hope this series doesn't ever end. It might. I hope it doesn't. Read this. Read this. It's great. Read this one, too. I haven't read it yet, but I will. It's great. It's great. Highly recommend. It's got a blurb from Angie Thomas, too. If that doesn't sell you, I don't know what will. Book number 7 on this list is Let's Talk About Love by Claire Kahn. Alright, so this is an ace rep, and I think I need to be like full disclosure here on why this one really ended up on the list. It's because this one really failed me. I read this one before reading this one, and this has tropes that I really don't like. This is an ace rep as well, if you're looking for an ace rep. It just had tropes I don't personally like, but I think a lot of people will. Anyway, we're here to talk about this one. I DNF'd that one. I don't think I'm ever going to read it. I don't think I'm ever going to finish it. It was hard. That's what she said. I should just finish it just so I can put it in my worst of list, but that's just mean. Anyway, Let's Talk About Love follows Alice. There's a lot of Alices on this list and on my wrap-up of the year. I don't know what it is. I like Alices. Anyway, Alice is asexual, gets a new job at a library, and all that stuff. And she's just trying to navigate maybe starting a new relationship, but trying to navigate, she's just getting over a breakup, and she's trying to navigate, I don't know, just who she is. And I think the main reason this is on this list is because I personally am not asexual, so like I don't fully comprehend asexuality as a whole, and this really opened my eyes to and educated me a lot more on asexuality. And I think, so I hope it's a really good rep, because if not, it totally fucked everything. But yeah, I think like I personally didn't know that it's more of a spectrum. It's not just black and white, which I think a lot of people think it is. Anyway, yeah, this book educated the fuck out of me, and I loved it, and it was cute and adorable, and Takumi is so swoony. But seriously, highly recommend. Highly recommend if you're looking for an ace rep. Number 6 is a book that I read twice this past year, so it just kind of seemed natural that it would be on this list. Once I read it because I wanted to, and then I had to read it again for school. And that's Becoming by Michelle Obama. This book is great. Oh, this book is so good. I highly recommend the audiobook just because Michelle Obama's voice is soothing. But this is a book that I don't know how to describe how important this book is and how many people it could potentially reach. It has reached. But I think I think like just as a woman, it reached me on like the woman level. It reached me as someone who's dealing with grief. Like now I look back at the passages, because there's like a passage in here about grief, and I look back on those, and now I view those differently. I think it's a great book for people who are striving towards something. I think it's a great book for someone who is like me, has made a tilt or is scared to swerve, as she puts it. It's a great book. It is a great, inspirational, amazing piece of literature, and every single human should read this book. It's great. I highly recommend. Highly, highly, highly recommend. It's great. It's beautiful. Highly recommend the audiobook because she's swoony. But yeah, and I think I don't think if you're just, a lot of people probably think like only if you're American you will like this, but my Canadian friends, one in particular, Sarah, over at Sarah's Reading Nook, who has a newer channel, by the way, you should go check her out. She loves this book too, so, and she's Canadian, so like, you know, I don't think this touches as much on politics, I think, as some people probably expect. All right, we're in the top 5, guys. Woo! All right, number 5, coming at ya, Is Not That Bad, edited by Roxane Gay. I also read Bad Feminist this year as well and loved it. This is Dispatches of Rape Culture. I listened to the audiobook for this, which is narrated by the individual like stories in here. This is a nonfiction book. It's hard to read. You will cry. It will break you. I highly recommend caution if you are sensitive to these kind of topics. If you have triggers of any sort, highly recommend you just be careful. Yeah, this book is a tough, rough read, like gut-wrenching read, but I feel like it's so important, and it's such a great book. I wish a lot more men would read this book, I think, because it, like, I don't think a lot of men grasp the full, like, spectrum, is that what I'm, like, of rape culture, or the full picture of what rape culture is. And this book covers not only rape and assault and awful things like that, awful stories like that will just break you into a million pieces, but also just like the toxic masculinity in culture, in our culture, and stuff like that, and just, whew, it's something. This book is great. It's awful that this book exists, but it's great at the same time that this book exists, if that makes any sense. I highly recommend, but like I said, use caution. It's hard to read, but important, and yeah, I loved it, but also hated it. But it's on my best of list, so you know. Book number 4 is Ivy Aberdeen's Letter to the World. This book, oh my goodness. So this is a middle grade book that has a girl that likes girls. I'm so happy LGBT themes are like becoming more and more prevalent in middle grade. Middle grade, guys. This is great. This is beautiful. So what happens in this book is a girl, a tornado rips through this town and destroys this girl's house, and her whole family is displaced. But in the mayhem of everything, she also loses her notebook, which has secret drawings of girls holding hands. So cute. It's just such a cute story about a girl just discovering who she is, especially when you're that age. I think this book is important for that age, because had I had this book at this age range, my life would probably be a little different. I would have discovered who I was a lot earlier, and I just, yeah. This book, like, my little, like, by heart just felt this, and just, I've never seen myself so hard in a middle grade book. I'll just say that. I'll end on that note. This is great. Go read it. It's adorable and perfect and everything. Book number 3, which I think will be on a lot of people's lists, is Red, White, and Royal Blue. This follows Alex, who is the first woman president's son, and of the U.S. And it follows, oh my God, Henry. I forgot his name. It's on my best of list and I forgot his name. Henry, who is the Prince of Wales, and they fall in love. So there's like all these complications of like politics, and usually I don't dig famous tropes, because there is famous people in here. Obviously the prince is pretty famous, and the first son pretty famous, so like I don't dig that trope, but this was alright. I mean, it made it to number 3, so I guess it's alright. Yeah, highly recommend. It is worth the hype. Everybody has been hyping this book up, and I think it's worth it. It's a little smutty, which I dig. Yeah, I read it on vacation, and yeah, I think it was like one of the few books I read on vacation, and I loved it. Book number 2 should be of no surprise to anyone, because I feel like every year one of her books ends up on my list because she always comes out with a new one, and I always read it, and I always love it because she's my favorite author. Anne Fraser, Body Keeper. This is book 3 in the Jude Fontaine series. I have to look because I call them the Body series because I'm very basic. The first book is Body Reader, second book is Body Counter, and the third book is Body Keeper. I recommend, if you haven't tried Anne Fraser, and I hype her up a lot, keeping a look out on Amazon Kindle, if you have a Kindle. A lot of time Amazon will run like super cheap deals on her books, and because they are an Amazon, she's published under Thomas & Mercer, which is an Amazon publisher. So yeah, anyway, highly recommend her books. But this is the third installment in this series, and it's great. Oh my god, it was great. So this follows Jude, which I can't really talk too much about because it's like the third in the series, and I don't want to spoil anything if you haven't read the other books. But yeah, she's a detective. Normally people don't like detective books on BookTube for some reason, because y'all are weird. I don't know. I thought this Anne Fraser does detective well. She does just everything she touches is just phenomenal and amazing. But anyway, a boy turns up frozen in a lake, and he's like 20 some years. He's a 12-year-old boy, and they're 20 years they've been missing, and they start turning up in the ice. I had like 1 or 2 or 3, I don't remember. But yeah, so she's like solving what the hell is happening. And one of a random kid also shows up on her doorstep with no name, and no one knows who he is. So, and then it's just all that. I don't know how else to describe this book. That's just a terrible review. I suck. But seriously, it's fucking amazing. Everything she writes is brilliant. And it's like so good. I'm always like on the edge of my seat, like I try really hard to not read her books really fast, because like I want to savor them, because I know I'm gonna have to wait another year for the next one. But seriously, highly recommend. It's great. And number 1 on this list is Alice by Christina Henry. This was of no real surprise to me because Lost Boy was at the top of the list when I read that, which is by Christina Henry, when that came out. I was just really hesitant of reading more of Christina Henry, even though I own like everything she's ever written. I am really hesitant about it because I'm like scared that I'm not gonna like it. But I loved this. This was everything. It's another Alice in Wonderland retelling, but it's like Alice in Wonderland meets like a horror slasher film. It's just violent and bloody and just gory and just everything that I wanted, and just really fucked up and amazing. Yeah, I loved this. Oh my god, I loved this. I loved you. You were perfect. Perfect. And it's like super psychotic and just crazy and just great. Yeah, and there's a sequel to it, and there's another book that's coming out, I believe, in April of this year with novellas that are told in this series. So I need to finish this series, this duology, so I can read that. Christina Henry, man. If you haven't read Christina Henry and you like horror, or you like just fucked up stuff, I recommend her. She's great. I love this. I love this. It's so good. So good. My favorite book of the year. I love you. Alright, that's it. Those are my top 10 of the year. I am gonna go eat something now because I made this video and now I'm starving. Anyway, I love you guys. I will see you in the next video. Peace. I'm out. Goodbye. It'll probably be a stats video, I think. So let me know if there's anything that you want to see included in my stats video, because like I'm kind of flailing at recording it right now. It might just be like a chatty video, honestly. I don't think it's going to be very structured. Anyway, I'm leaving. I love you guys. Peace. I'm out. Bye.